I'm Joe Rivera, City Attorney Mar Elliott, San Diego Housing Commission President and CEO Lisa Jones, as well as a number of community organizations and individuals who have advocated tirelessly for a budget that serves all San Diegans. We're here today to introduce a final budget package to restore and supplement vital funding to housing, homelessness, and community equity programs. The multi-month budget process has been a significant one. And so in addition to those here today, I want to extend a thank you for the work and collaboration of the Office of the Mayor, my colleagues on the City Council, Chief Finance Officer Matt Vespi, Independent Budget Analyst Charles Modica, our various department heads, and perhaps most importantly, many of our hardworking city employees for their roles in getting us to this point. As this year's chair of the budget, I introduced improvements to create a more efficient and productive budget review process. And I want to thank my city colleagues and city departments for adjusting to this new process, which I believe have increased transparency and made it easier for the public to participate. I want to especially thank the public for their active participation and feedback throughout. As you all well know, we have faced a pretty significant year of fiscal challenges looking at this next fiscal year. And outlined in our final budget proposal are changes intended to help preserve as well as supplement programs that are proven to work, programs that hundreds of thousands are relying on at this very moment, programs that help to support shelter, and programs that people would immediately feel the impacts from if funding were to be reduced or stopped. There are no easy choices in this difficult budget year, and I know that these modifications reflect the majority of the priorities expressed by the public and my colleagues. Prioritizing funding for the housing and homelessness programs and services that the San Diego Housing Commission operates or administers on behalf of the city is at the center of this budget proposal. This includes additional funding for various shelter sites, as well as increasing support for the city's main homelessness prevention program, the Housing Instability Prevention Program. As the cost of housing continues to increase, these programs are critical to keeping San Diegans housed before they fall into homelessness and in providing services for our unhoused community. Our budget proposal also includes restoring $1 million to the Youth Care and Development Drop-In Pilot Program, adding $250,000 for library materials from the general fund, increasing funds to expedite pothole repairs through increasing efficiency of repairs by 11%. We're also looking at additional increases that recommended by the independent budget analysts help to support arts and culture funding throughout the city, as well as a number of climate equity projects. And finally, at the recommendation of Councilmember Henry Foster, we are looking to restore $3 million to the Community Equity Fund in order to provide additional support to storm victims through the San Diego Housing Commission. There are more details certainly within this proposal, but it is one that we believe, even in a challenging year, we as a city, in partnership with our colleagues and the mayor, can be proud to pass. Now, I'll let my colleagues share a little bit more about some of the modifications of the budget, and with that, I will be pleased to introduce Council President Sean Elo Rivera.
Thank you, Chair Lee. Good afternoon, everyone, and especially to our community members who are out here. Chair Lee, I want to say thank you for your leadership in the budget process. As the chair mentioned, we did the budget a little bit different this year, and that started with Council President Pro Tem LaCava asking a question about what different ways can we explore the budget process as a city council that gives the public and the council more opportunity to engage in the process, shape the budget, and I think that what we did this year did just that. I also want to make sure I thank all of the folks who are out here behind me right now and everyone else who engaged in the process. Your voices made a huge difference this budget cycle. And while it is true that this was a tough budget year and we were going to make difficult decisions no matter what, you helped us keep in mind what is truly important and what really matters, and the budget's better because of that. The revised budget is better because of that, and what we act on today is better because of that. Thank you. The budget action that we have an opportunity to take today is one that will, again, during a very tough time, ensures that all San Diegans, especially the most vulnerable San Diegans, are not left behind. There's three items that I'm going to draw attention to. Councilmember Lee mentioned a couple of them. The first is the youth drop-in centers. This is a key program that the community created, they dreamt up, that we funded last year, and the community wants to see us follow through. There's nothing more important than investing in our young people. Nothing. Especially young people who have not been afforded the opportunities that young people in wealthier parts of our city have. If there's a single thing that we should all be willing to make sacrifices for, it is the embetterment and empowerment of our young people. So the youth drop-in centers, when we have the opportunity to invest in that today, I think that'll be a joyous moment for the council and for the community to know that what they fought for, what they won last year, will be implemented in the year ahead. The second is our homelessness prevention program. This is a very expensive city to live in. It's too expensive. And more often, we're watching folks get pushed into homelessness simply because they cannot keep up with the cost of living. That is especially true for seniors. That is especially true for people with disabilities. And is especially true with families with children. I think as a community, we can all say we don't want anyone who fits those categories to unnecessarily fall into homelessness. Our homelessness prevention program, which we call our Housing Instability Prevention Program, is a key piece in making sure that we do not have folks unnecessarily become homeless. We will again have the opportunity to fund that in a substantial way this year, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And the third thing I want to highlight is the program that Councilmember Lee mentioned that Councilmember Foster has fought for, and this is the refunding of our community equity program. This is a program that was established by previous Councilmember Montgomery Stepp. We have over 1,000 people who are still living in hotel rooms in San Diego at no fault of their own. They were displaced by floods, and we have to do everything that we can to get those folks back into permanent housing. We have a moral obligation to invest in them. And with the action that we have in front of us, that we will have in front of us today, we will have a chance to do that. Direct assistance and direct relief to people who have been displaced from their homes, to get them back into their homes or back into homes that they can once again reestablish their lives in. All of this is an incredible opportunity. I want to thank my colleagues for their meaningful engagement in the budget process over the last several weeks. I want to again thank the public for not letting up, for fighting for what you want, what you need, and what you know will make San Diego a place that lives up to the ideals that we say we are striving for. And I want to thank the Mayor's Office for their partnership in hearing what the community has had to say. With that, I'm going to hand it over to our City Attorney, Mara Elliott, so she can highlight another program that we are looking to fund later today. Thank you, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Council President, and President Pro Tem LaCava. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today to speak on behalf of victims of domestic violence. I will focus my remarks on the importance of supporting Your Safe Place, our Family Justice Center. But I will say, I think it speaks very well to your leadership that there are so many divergent interests represented here today. First, I want to thank you for including the necessary funding for the city's Domestic Violence Center in your proposed budget amendments. Your Safe Place provides critical services to victims of domestic violence, human trafficking, elder abuse, child abuse, and other sex crimes. All the services a victim needs are under one roof. This model has proven effective for over 20 years. Last year, Your Safe Place responded to 20,000 calls for services, and it operates with just 14 employees. The rest of our wraparound services are provided by 85 community partners who donate their services and their products to our clients free of charge. Our staff and our community partners rely on a case management system to securely share information about our clients and to provide the wraparound services that make Family Justice Centers so unique and effective. That's what this money is going to go towards. Our services prevent survivors from returning to their abusers and protect our most vulnerable from becoming homeless. And on this point, I believe the City Council agrees. Support for the survivors of domestic violence is simply one of the best expenditures we can make in combating homelessness because it protects people from becoming homeless in the first place. And I want to conclude by again thanking Chairman Lee, Council President, and Council President Pro Tem, as well as Council Member Campbell, who continues to be a fierce advocate for all domestic violence and human trafficking survivors. And I also want to thank everyone who's here today, as well as our colleagues who have personally expressed their support for domestic violence survivors. Thank you, and I will hand this back to our chairman.
Thank you to the Council President. Thank you to City Attorney Elliott. Before I hand it over to our next speaker, as you know, one of our greatest priorities that has been outlined by our mayor that this council has also been working to address is the simple fact that housing affordability and as a result homelessness in San Diego is a crisis that we continue to face. And that means that our efforts on that front must be multi-pronged. What you're going to see reflected in this budget are efforts to expand upon our shelter programs, expand on funding that is available for the identification of new and replacement shelters, as well as to support some of the existing programs that we have, as well as on the prevention side. So with that said, would like to introduce you to Lisa Jones, the CEO of the San Diego Housing Commission.
Thank you. As has already been discussed, there are no easy answers when we face budgeting challenges like we all have this year. But amid hard choices and competing priorities, we've seen a problem-solving mentality and a willingness to collaborate to find solutions. That has brought us here today. Part of our mission is to support thousands of San Diegans through homelessness shelters and services we administer on the city's behalf. The mayor's May budget revision restored much of the funding necessary to prevent major impacts to critical programs serving our most vulnerable neighbors. And we deeply appreciate and thank the mayor for his willingness to listen, engage, and work with us to identify solutions and support critical programs. Still, we know there was more work to do to address remaining shortfalls in funding. With this proposal, if approved, the council would continue to invest in proven programs that not only address homelessness, but prevent it. For example, the Housing Instability Prevention Program has life-changing positive impacts on households it serves. The families enrolled in these programs don't have to choose between buying food or paying their rent. The mayor's May revise restored enough funding for us to keep helping the roughly 260 families currently enrolled in this program. But housing prices aren't staying still, and we can't either. The council members' budget proposal we're discussing today will fulfill our budget recommendation and provide the Housing Commission enough funding to grow the successful program and help more families keep a roof over their head. We would also be able to increase monthly financial assistance for some families and provide longer financial assistance for people on a fixed income. This new budget proposal also would restore $750,000 to help people off the streets and into shelter and permanent housing. The multidisciplinary outreach program is an essential tool in reducing street homelessness. It helps the most vulnerable, most in need, and hardest to reach who are on the street and connects them with life-changing help. Outreach to these individuals requires more time and attention than other programs. The state of California allocated $750,000 to support expansion of this program, and the May revise provided enough funding to maintain current levels. But with this new budget proposal, we will be able to expand the program to reach more people. We all know the shortage of affordable rental housing in our community is a major contributor to homelessness and to economic struggle. The Housing Commission's proposed budget made $9 million available to support the creation of an additional affordable housing units. However, much of that funding has been proposed for filling a gap in city funding for homelessness programs. We know that these are challenging decisions between competing priorities. But today's budget proposal will maintain that $9 million to create more of the affordable housing we need. These changes will help the Housing Commission address and prevent homelessness by providing the shelter and services needed by those experiencing homelessness, supporting the creation of additional affordable housing, and keeping people in their homes. Thank you to Council President Elo Rivera, to Budget Chair Lee, and all of the council colleagues for their leadership and focus on meaningful solutions in a challenging budget season.
Thank you, Lisa. So the council meeting will be at 2 o'clock. You'll certainly get a chance to hear the full proposal and some of the questions, I'm sure, the discussion that we'll be hearing from our council colleagues. Again, this has been a very challenging fiscal year. And in this final proposal, we look forward to this opportunity to meet many of the challenges that the mayor has identified and the council is looking to collaborate on solving. And we look forward to discussing with you any further if you've got any questions. So we'll be available, I think, for additional one-on-ones as needed. So. So we are